What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here with the week's hottest topics, you guys. This is the stuff that's happened this week. This is the week of March 14th through March the 19th. I actually got the ending of the week right because this has been a difficult. It hasn't been truly difficult, but it's always a hard week for me. I always hate the week of St. Patrick's Day. Um, because actually today, which is March 19th, which is when I'm filming this, today would have been my grandmother's 90, I believe it would have been her 98th birthday. She passed away in 2013. I think she would have been, I think that year she passed away, she would have turned 90. So yeah, today is my grandmother's birthday. And then on top of it being my grandmother's birthday, it's also the 4-year anniversary that my mother passed away. So got to get that out the way. So I know that I have a video tomorrow. That one might be on, you guys might get Love and Marriage Huntsville. You might get that on Sunday morning when I come back to Dallas, because I'm going home tomorrow afternoon to go visit my mom at my grandmother's grave. So videos, I think Bell Collective, you guys will get that tonight or tomorrow morning, one of the two. But I know for a fact Love and Marriage Huntsville, that might be a Sunday video. It just might be. Because like I said, I'm probably not going to be in, I'm more than likely I won't be in Dallas to watch the episode. So you guys get that Sunday for sure. What else, you guys? Yeah, but yeah, happy birthday to my big mama, Viola Staley, and just happy birthday to my grandmother. Actually, happy birthday to my grandmother. Happy birthday to my cousin Sade. Today is her birthday. I have a little cousin who's in Vegas right now. Her birthday was St. Patrick's Day. And then just rest in peace to my mother. So with that being said, you guys, let's just go ahead and just jump into the hot topics of this week, shall we? All right, you guys. So the first story that I'm going to talk about is actually the biggest story this week so far, and it's the incident that happened down there in Atlanta, Georgia, where I think he's 21-year-old. The 21-year-old man went into the massage parlor and killed, was it 8 people? And a good chunk of them were women, Asian women at that. So he killed them, and the narrative that the police department, the guy who was, did the press conference, the narrative that they were putting out there, it's disgusting. It's like you guys are trying to make him the victim when he killed people. I just don't understand it. How do we make this man who went into a massage parlor and shot and killed Asian women? I know that there was a white man that was killed, and I know that a white man was killed, and I think a white woman or somebody else was killed. So they weren't all Asian, but a good chunk of them were Asian. And I'm just not understanding how we're making him the victim, saying, oh, he had a sex addiction. Oh, he had a bad day. Okay, I have a bad day. There are plenty of times that I've had bad days, but you don't see me going out cocking my gun and going and shooting and killing people. If you're having a bad day, you need to sit down. You need to figure out a way to calm yourself and center yourself and move on with your day. Don't let outside factors just control your life. That means you have no control of your brain and your emotions. If you have a bad day, you got to go out and shoot and kill people. And then, talking about he has a sex addiction. Okay, if you have a sex addiction, what does you going to a massage parlor have to do with your sex addiction? How does that help your, quote, sex addiction? Explain that to me. How does going to a massage parlor and killing people, first of all, how do they contribute to your sex addiction? And see, that's the one thing about massage parlors. People give them a bad reputation, especially if it's an Asian ran, massage parlor. They give it a bad, why did I do air quotes? well, I did an air quote for a reason. They give Asian, especially if it's an Asian ran massage parlor, because you never see people going into massage envy. Gosh, I've never been to a massage envy before. But the places that are franchised, you don't ever hear anything bad, negative coming out about them. But like I said, when it comes to an Asian ran massage parlor, people want to give it a negative stereotype because people want to attach the whole happy endings onto them, that they're in there giving, men a happy ending, which is not the case. Like, I just don't understand it. And then, the hashtag stop the Asian hate, I believe that's the hashtag that's been going around. It's just a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff with that. I just don't, again, like I said, I don't understand how the person who committed the murder has now become the victim. The victims are the innocent lives that were lost for they were doing their job. This idiot just decided to come in and just start shooting up the place. How are those people now, like, how do you shift the focus from the innocent lives that were lost to this dumbass? Yes, that's what I'm calling him. He's a dumbass. Again, like I said, sex addiction. So how does that hit? So you went into a massage parlor, shoot people. Does that then cure your sex addiction? Don't think so. You're having a bad day. Boom. Let me kill the person that didn't do anything to me. Does that make your day any better? No. Like, I just don't understand it. And, for the last year, because I did see recently where an Asian woman, I think in California, she was attacked. And I hate to say it, but these attacks on these Asian people have been done by white people. I don't know if I hate to say it, but Gerald, you went cycling with the workout app for the first time yesterday. Keep crushing it. Okay. Sorry, you guys. My watch, it notifies me of, when I do certain things. But, what was I saying? Yeah, the attacks on Asian Americans has been done by white people. And it's been very visible within the last year. And it's been very visible within the last year because of the past administration and the terrible rhetoric that he would spew. Because, he would go on interviews. He would go on Twitter. So glad he's banned from Twitter. But he would go on there and he was the most disgusting, despicable person. Because the things he would say, and this is one of those times where they say, your words matter. He would go on social media and attack the Asian community with, this whole coronavirus COVID situation. He gave it so many different nicknames, and all of them were an attack on Asian people. The China virus, the Kung flu, the Wuhan virus, what else he call it? Those are the top three that I can think of. Kung flu, the China virus, and the Wuhan virus. I'm gonna speak on this because I used to troll. I trolled him because it was so fun to troll him when he would say it, because he would have his supporters. And they would just be up under there, just talking about China this, China that, China. And I'm like, it's not the China virus. Stop saying the China virus. In the U.S., it's the you-know-who virus. I'm not saying his name, but it's the you-know-who virus. And they'd be like, no, but it came from China. I'm like, we don't know. First of all, we don't know where it came from. Number two, you can't blame China for what happened in the States. That's on him. He knew about this virus. He didn't do anything about it. He stayed quiet about the virus. And then one of his supporters the other day was tweeting to me talking about he closed down the borders. He stopped the travel. We went on a lockdown. Did we really go on a lockdown? Because here in Texas, it was a lax lockdown. It wasn't a complete lockdown. It was a very, very lax lockdown. I'm going to be honest with you. Very lax. Very lax. So yeah, it's just a situation of where your words definitely matter. And that's why, stop. stop the hate. Like, that's the one thing I just want to say. Stop the hate. Like, it just makes no sense to me. These people lost their lives for absolutely no reason. They didn't do anything to this man. They didn't know this man. And I just don't know how people can sit and defend this man. That's almost like, with those other and you notice when it comes to mass shootings, it's always white men that do it. Like the Dylan Roof situation, going into a freaking church and killing people that ain't did nothing to you. The Columbine massacre, the Sandy Hook massacre, the Virginia Tech massacre, the Pulse massacre, the the list can go on and on. What is another massacre that I can think of? This? Oh my God, the massacre that happened in the movie theater at the Batman movie. Like, it makes no sense. The massacre, the shooting that happened in Texas was it last year or was it 2019? Where the man was in Walmart shooting people for and then I'm not about to go down that. I'm definitely not about to go down that rabbit hole. But just look at the mass shootings, and then look at. Actually, we are going to talk about it just for a second, and then we'll get off of it. Look at how they treat these mass murderers. They take them out. They take them in with no problem. And then what was it? Was it Dylan Roof? They took him to get a hamburger after he did the shooting at the church. He just killed people, but y'all take him to get something to eat. But when it comes to someone who looks like me, one person can't handle that one person who's unarmed. You shoot and kill him. But this man who has assault rifles and everything, probably grenades and stuff attached to him, take him in, no problem. No problem. But someone who looks like me, you find him to be a threat, shoot and kill. That's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys think about all of that, and we will discuss it. But I'm gonna move on. All right, you guys. Next, let's talk about Sharon Osbourne. Girl, things just keep going from bad to worse for you, huh? We just talked about you last week. I knew things would not get. I knew things would probably get worse before they got better, but I didn't think they would go down this far. Sharon, I bet you learned a valuable lesson in this one, didn't you? If it ain't got nothing to do with you, mind your business, because that is what? Free as hell. So, you guys remember last week we talked about the interview. Well, you guys know. So, let's do a backtrack. You guys remember Meghan Markle and Prince Harry did the interview with Oprah, right? So then Piers Morgan came out and said what he said. He got called to the carpet by his co-worker. Piers Morgan left the stage. Sharon Osbourne went on social media in defense of Piers Morgan. Then on The Talk, they talked about it, and she wanted to know what was so racist about it. So he didn't say it's not that he said anything racist. It's not that he said anything outright racist. It was how he was attacking. It's his attack on, do we call her a black woman or do we call her biracial? Whichever one we want to call Meghan Markle. Biracial, black. It's his attack of her. He continuously attacked this woman for no reason, all because of his fragile masculinity. And Piers Morgan is no looker. Seriously. The man looks like a toad. Being honest. So Sharon went on The Talk, having a conversation with Cheryl, who is one of her co-hosts. I love Cheryl, actually. I haven't watched The Talk in so long. I think when The Talk first came out, I didn't initially get into it because I never watched it when Holly Robinson Pete was there and when Leah Remini was there. I don't think I started watching The Talk until Cheryl and Aisha Tyler joined. Yeah, that's when I started watching it, because I was in I was in college when The Talk initially premiered. So I think actually, yeah, that's exactly when I started watching it, because I would come home because I always made sure that so funny story, when I was in college, I made sure never to have a class between noon and 1 p.m. I never had a class in that. Actually, the one time that I did have a class that from 12 to 12:50, I hated it so much. It was the worst because I was sitting in class hungry the entire time. I'm like, why did I do this? So I dropped that class and I found another class. So I made a habit of never having a class between 12 and 1. So if I did have an afternoon class, my afternoon class would have to be from anywhere after 2 o'clock on down. I think the latest that I ever had a class was till 7 o'clock at night. That was the latest. Nope, that was not the latest. I had one that was at 9 o'clock. But yeah, so I would come home, and the reason why I never had a class in the 1 o'clock era is because if you guys haven't heard me say it by now, I live for the soap opera. So when I was in college, All My Children was on, Days of Our Lives, which is still currently running. Actually, my first year of college, Passions was still on, so I was watching that. So I made sure I would be home to watch Passions, General Hospital, and All My Children, and Days of Our Lives. Made sure I was at home to do that. So when most of those shows started getting canceled, they brought on The Talk, and I was like, because CBS. I didn't watch any CBS. Yes, I do. The Young and the Restless. But I haven't watched that show in God knows how many years. Bringing up on a tangent. Didn't mean to do that, you guys. But yeah, suffice it to say, I didn't watch the first season of The Talk because I just felt some type of way about the soap operas being canceled for this talk show from women that I didn't know. Some of them I knew, some of them I didn't know. The only one in the beginning that I didn't know too much about was Leah Remini, but I've always known who Holly Robinson was. I knew who Sharon Osbourne was from the Osbournes, and I knew who Julie was because I watched Big Brother. I hate these people. So yeah, I didn't watch it until Cheryl and Aisha came on. But back to what happened. So, Cheryl and Sharon having a conversation. Sharon was very condescending and very in your face with Cheryl. Like I said last week, Cheryl is a bigger and better person than I am because the way that Sharon was talking to her, it would have been the grace of God for me not to get up and just slap her because she was rude and condescending because she really was. She was talking down to Cheryl. And then when she told Sharon, and don't you cry, because if anybody should be crying, it should be me. For what? Because people are calling you out because you're supporting Piers Morgan. Now, it's one, if you want to support him, that's fine. Just like with Piers, because they want to talk about free. I love when people want to talk about free speech. Yes, you have the right to say whatever you want to say. You do. But you also have to deal with the ramifications that come from certain things that you say. If it's bigoted, if it's racist, if it's, let's just say, problematic as hell, you also have to deal with the outcome of what you say. So free speech is just, you can say whatever you want to say, but you just have to deal with the outcome of what you say. So, like I said, Sharon is learning the hard way that minding your business is free. So actually, after I filmed last week's video, The Talk went on hiatus. I haven't with The Talk, I haven't watched it as much as I used to, because my mom and I used to watch The Talk when I would come home from class. I haven't watched The Talk in quite a long time. The show that I stick with now is The View. I watch that every morning, like clockwork. Since COVID, I've watched The View every morning. So The Talk is under hiatus right now, and Sharon is under investigation. Now, also last week, Holly Robinson Peete came out, and Holly Robinson Peete said that, Sharon is the reason that she lost her job with The Talk, her and Leah Remini. She said that Sharon said they were, quote, too ghetto for the show. So Sharon came back out and said that she didn't say that, and then she shared this email that Holly Robinson Peete sent to her. Again, Sharon, sometimes saying nothing is the best thing that you could do. Like sometimes it's just better to, zip your lips, let a sleeping dog, just let it sit there. Because things have come out about her since. Number one, you guys remember Sarah Gilbert was on there as well. That's another person I forgot. I knew Sarah Gilbert from the Roseanne show. Sarah Gilbert was on there, and we all know Sarah Gilbert is a lesbian. She's married with kids. Sharon, I don't know if you thought this was funny or what, but the fact that you call the woman a pussy licker, not funny. Just really mean. You called her a pussy licker. You call Julie Chen, let's actually call her name correctly since she always liked to say it on Big Brother. From outside of the Big Brother house, I'm Julie Chen Moonves. Good night. When she started doing that, Julie knew she was pissing people off, but she's still on Big Brother. From outside, good night. From outside of the Big Brother house, I'm Julie Chen Moonves. Good night. I hate that she does that. Girl, why don't you just stick with? Because you have been saying from outside of the Big Brother house, I'm Julie Chen. Good night. You've been saying that since forever. Like you've been saying that since the beginning. That's your closing. That was your closing. But I mean, now that she says Moonves, she's been saying it for a few seasons now, so we're used to it. But the first time she said Moonves, I was like, oh my God. I cringed. I really cringed. But yeah, she called Julie Chen Moonves wonton eyes. She did call Leah Remini. She's in a tweet. She said she's never used that word before, and she also said she doesn't have the power to fire anybody, which I believe. I know that. She called Leah Remini ghetto. So that was a lie that you said. You never used that word. So yeah, big lie. So then it's like I said. So Sharon was, where do we want to say Sharon was? Okay, so this is Piers, right? She's all the way up here. Then she comes down with the talk, and Cheryl, then the Holly Robinson thing, and the other stuff that's come out about her. Now she's just flat. She's just flat now because she did an interview with Kevin Frazier. So did I watch that full interview? I think I did. So she did an interview with Kevin Frazier, and in the interview, she's still not taking any kind of accountability for anything. She's talking about that Cheryl is her good friend of 11 years. Okay, well, your good friend ain't taking your phone call, so I don't know how good of a friend she is to you now. Because, I mean, yeah, you were disrespectful to her, no doubt. But yeah, in this interview with Kevin Frazier, I'm like, ooh, you just really digging a deeper grave for yourself. So she's talking about an episode where they had a discussion about black people. Why is it okay for black people to use the N-word, and why isn't it okay for white people to use the N-word? That's pretty easy to say. Now I know we could get into the discussion about that we as black people probably, I've had people say it on my channel too to me that I say nigga too much. I probably do, but it's just a word it's a word that I've been saying for years. Should I probably not use it? Absolutely. I shouldn't use the word nigga, but I do. I can't. I mean, I'm sorry. I say the word, but I don't want someone who doesn't look like me to say it. We as black people have taken that word and we've taken the sting out of it. And again, like I said, I know we shouldn't say the word, but I'd be damned if somebody like a Sharon Osbourne comes up to me and say, "What's up, my nigga?" I'm gonna be ready to fight you. Like if somebody that looks like this wall is white. If somebody looks like this wall comes up to me and say, "Oh, what's up, my nigga?" I'm gonna be ready to fight you because don't call me that. Like I'm not your nigga. Kind of like with Evelyn off of Basketball Wives. They've come at her for saying nigga so much. Kind of like with Lily from Black Ink Crew. People came at her for saying it. And I know it's a what's the word? It's a double standard. So I get it. But with that conversation, she said that they all made a pact to each other. I forgot what the pact was. I really forgot what the pact was. I wouldn't listen to her that much, but they made a pact with each other. So she's saying that the producers set her up with this situation. I was like, oh girl, the producers, yeah, you, you can kiss that job goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. But yeah, that's it for Sharon. I ain't got nothing else for her. Hope you got some money saved up, because I don't think you're coming back to talk. Just keeping it real. Hope you've saved up that money over the seasons. Let's move on. All right, you guys. So the next story that we're going to talk about is the Grammy Awards. So the Grammy Awards came on this past Sunday. Did you guys watch it? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I did not watch. Actually, so with the Grammy Awards, I did have it on my television, and so I have 3 TVs. Actually, I have 2 in this apartment, but I have 4 TVs. I have 2 that were my mom's, and 2 are mine. So I have a TV in my living room and TV in my bedroom, and I might put a TV in this room eventually. So yeah, the TV in my room was on Bravo. I was watching Real Housewives of Atlanta and Married to Medicine. The big TV, which is in the living room, that was on CBS for the Grammys. The Grammys was different this year, to say the least. It was outdoors. I thought it was hella funny. Well, it wasn't funny. It just showed like, damn, it's outside. CDC relaxes social distancing guidelines for schools. Oh, that's interesting. The CDC relax with kids? Is that something that you really want to do? I mean, because kids are the nastiest. No shade, but I mean, I know my little cousin. He does things, and he's 8, but I'm like, really, Kyrie? Why would you do that? Some of the things he does, I'm just like, why would you do that? And he just looks at me and laughs. I'm like, really? Why would you do that? But yeah, interesting though. Okay. I think I just saw that some states are now relaxing their guidelines as well. It is what it is, you guys. I hope everyone is able, if you want to get the vaccine and you're eligible to get the vaccine and you want it, I hope you guys get it. If not, it is what it is. I think I am getting the vaccine for sure. I actually just got an email because, you guys, I do Postmates and Uber Eats. So they just told me to check and see if in my state, which is Texas, if, essential workers are able to get the vaccine, which I don't know. I need to look into that to see if essential workers can get the vaccine. If they can, I'm going to sign up for it and go get the vaccine. At this point, what have I got to lose? Look at the Grammys. Like I said, outdoor, social distancing, it was just different. And the one thing that caught my attention, I thought when I was listening to it, when I was watching, I'm like, is that outside of my apartment or is that there? When Megan Thee Stallion won her first award of the night that was presented to her by Lizzo, when you heard the car go by, I was like, was that me? But I'm glad Megan said, dang car. I'm like, okay, it was y'all. You guys, I can't really tell you guys who all won. I wasn't paying close attention. I can't tell you all the performances. I'll just tell you the standout people. I'll just tell you the standout things that stood out for me. Her won a Grammy. Meg won 3. Beyonce won, with Megan, and she won for Black Parade. And she also broke a record as well. So congratulations to B, Megan, and her. Sorry to the other people that I didn't mention. I know Taylor Swift won an award. I know she performed. I did not watch that performance. Let's talk about some of the performances I enjoyed. Oh my God, Silk Sonic with Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. You guys, I love Leave the Door Open. Oh my God, that is my song. I'm ready for that album to come out. Love that song. Been jamming that song all week. I did enjoy. I like seeing a performance from DaBaby, Lil Baby, and Anthony Hamilton. I didn't know who Dua Lipa was. I was looking at her. I'm like, who is this? I'm like, oh, okay. Doja Cat. You guys, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't know nothing about Doja Cat, but I did like her set. I did like her performance. I just don't know anything about Doja Cat. I know nothing about that girl. Who else performed that caught my eye? I didn't watch Harry Styles. Is that his name? From One Direction, Harry Styles. Didn't watch him. Didn't watch Taylor Swift. As much as I love country, I didn't watch that because I saw Miranda Lambert. I don't know that the black girl. Don't know her name. I need to look into her. Who else was there? Oh, the biggest performance of the night for me, Megan and Cardi B. You know, and we're gonna go deeper into that. I mean, it was a little risque. It was a little raunchy. I will say, the thing with Megan, especially with Megan's performance, the girls that were tap dancing, I love that. I'm like, oh, that is so badass. She got girls tap dancing in the background. That's so cool. I always wanted to do tap, but it wasn't for me. Um, I mean, the performance was interesting. I will say that, especially when Cardi was on the ground and Megan got up there and they were bumping. But you know what? CBS put it on the air, so it must not have been that bad. You know, she did up. She did up. They did WAP. What did Megan do? I know she did Savage, and I mean it was okay. It was good. I mean, would I go back and watch it again? Probably not. But it was a good. It was Cardi and it was Meg. What can you expect? I mean, what you expect them to do? Come out there dressed as nuns and dance? Like, but like I said, we're gonna talk about that and we're gonna go a little bit deeper into that conversation. So let's pause here. All right, guys, let's talk about two coons. Two coons. One of them whose name I'm not gonna say, and the other one, girl, you just really made yourself look like an idiot. So the first one, Stacey Dash, I don't know who she did an interview with. I didn't even watch the interview. Actually, yes, I take that lie back. I did watch the interview because somebody put it on social media and they were like, fuck Stacey Dash, basically. Because it is basically a F Stacey Dash. Because I just don't see it for the woman. As much as I loved her from her role as Dion on Clueless to her being on Single Ladies. You know what, even when she left Single Ladies, I didn't miss her that much. But see, when she left Single Ladies, I didn't know Stacey Dash was just as problematic as she was until 2016 when she started doing this Fox News circuit. And I don't want nobody to think that I, have an issue with anybody who is a Republican who watches Fox News. I don't have an issue with anybody who does that or who commentates on Fox News. I have no issues with that. My issue is when you throw out all sense of logic. That's my issue. I just think when people throw out all sense of logic and when people just blanketly defend and even, like, I'm gonna take it back to when I am back like in '05. So back in 2005, my mom and I used to actually watch Fox News. They really weren't as bad as they have gotten over the years. We used to watch Greta Van Susteren. We used to watch Bill O'Reilly and Hannity and Combs at the time before it just became Hannity. It was Hannity and Combs. We used to watch those shows, and they, like I said, they weren't that bad. They did have a difference of opinions, but they just were not horrible people like they are now. It's like this alt-right conspiracy theorist stuff that they just spew every day. It just gets on my nerves. So my mom and I used to watch that, and we stopped watching them around 2008 when President Obama became President Obama because of the negative things that they kept saying about him. That's when we were like, okay, it's time to move on from Fox News. Let's go to CNN. We went to CNN. And it's just gone downhill since then. And I think when who won the presidency, I just think it just snowballed to hell at that point. Like, it just got drastically worse and worse and worse. Like, I didn't think it could get worse, but unfortunately it got worse after who won. It became the conspiracy theories. It became everything he says. It's, the left says this, the Dems this, the left that, the Dems this, the left, the Dems, the left, the Dems, the left, the Dems, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, Black Lives Matter to the left, the Dems, Antifa, all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, it gets frustrating to hear that stuff all the time. Like, I went to, you know, something, you know, I wanted a difference of opinion because I do watch CNN sometimes. And I was like, you know what? Andrew Cuomo and Don Lemon, we know that they hate him 100%. So it was like, I want to just get a difference of opinion and see what other people are saying. So I don't know why, but I watched Tucker Carlson and I was like, oh my God, this man is a bumbling idiot. Like, and then the faces that he makes, it's his facial expressions that just drove me crazy. It's like, are you really listening? So suffice it to say, Stacey Dash shot herself in the foot by going to Fox News because it was just for me with Fox News, it's just a conspiracy theories, and it's just I mean, it's one thing to support a person, but like, y'all defend everything that this man says, like everything, and then, you know, with, you know, who he would always talk about the fact that, you know, CNN, MSNBC, and all of the likes, ABC, NBC, and, you know, anything else that didn't agree with him, they were fake news. But go listen to Fox News, go listen to news. Actually, it was Fox News. I wish the dog would shut up barking. It was Fox News. So then, once Fox News last year started talking about the election and they called the election for President Biden, then people like, oh, CNN, you know, Fox News is now part of the fake news media as well. So now let's go to Newsmax, let's go to OAN and stuff like that. It's just like, I really hate this apartment. If it's not this damn dog next door to me, it's these people upstairs. That's like a clock, right? If it's not the damn dog or these people, oh, okay, yeah, you know what, God, I hear you. It's time for a house, because there's no fucking way I can. Sorry, you guys, to cuss like that, but there's no way I can continue to deal with this barking bitch next to me, and then these idiots upstairs. Like, this dog is barking while I'm talking, and it's distracting me. I'm frustrated right about now. So yeah, I was talking about Stacey Dash. I know that, but yeah, she shot herself in the foot, and now she wants to come back to black people. Girl, we don't want you. We don't like you. We don't know you. You don't go here. So then the demon, whose name I will not mention, I'll mention Stacey Dash's name on this channel, but this demon that went on Tucker Carlson talking about Cardi B and her performance on the Grammys. This demon, her name is, her initials are C and O. If you know who that is, cool. If you don't, go look it up. Go type in Cardi B versus, and it'll come up. CO. I'm not saying her name. So she's on Tucker Carlson and she's talking about this performance, and I'm just like, girl, you are really obsessed with Cardi, and I don't know why. You know, was it the most tasteful performance? Some might say no. Did I have an issue with it? No. And she's talking about, you know, that is, you know, corrupting our kids and stuff like that. I mean, if a parent is letting their kids look up to any celebrity, that's the fault of the parent, number one. Like, when I have kids, my kids are not gonna look up to any celebrity. They're gonna look up to me as their father. Like, I didn't look up to no celebrities when I was growing up. I looked up to my mom and my grandmother. Like, those are the two people that I looked up to. Now, yes, do I have my celebrities that I admire and I like, and, you know, I wanted to do things that they've done? Yes. But nobody shaped who I am more than my mother and my grandmother. So if your kids are looking up to these celebrity figures, that's your problem. Yours, and yours alone. But yeah, let's move on, you guys. I'm tired of talking about the two Coons. All right, guys, and then we're going to end on a funny note. I don't know if it's funny or if it's, it was interesting. I will say that. So you guys have, I know everybody has saw and heard the audio of Kirk Pinky Franklin talking to his song. No, look, he literally sounded like Pinky from Friday After Next. Like, he sounded like Pinky the way he was talking to that boy. Talking about he's calling him a bitch ass. Damn, the way that he was talking to that boy. And he's Kirion, 33 years old. Now, I don't know why Kirion felt the need to record his dad. I would never do that to my mom. First of all, I would never disrespect my mom in any way. And, my mother and I definitely had our fair share of heated arguments. Oh, we definitely, we had one really heated argument and I left the house. I remember it to this day. I don't even know what we got into it. I don't know what we got into it about, but it was very heated. Now, my mom never there were certain, she would say some curse words, but she would never say the strong, harsh curse words like MFer, the F word, bitch, son of a bitch. She would never say anything like that. She would say damn, she would say shit, she would say hell. And at one time she did say you can be a little bit of an ass. She did tell me that once before. She was like, and the thing was, she would always tell me, she was like, you can, well, it's not that I can dish shit, but I can't take it back in return because I can. The thing she says is, you can be so, what did she tell me? Because it's not that I can't, well, I could dish it to her. I will say I could, silent treatment. That's what it is about me. So with her, I could give her the silent treatment. I wouldn't acknowledge, she would be talking to me and I would go to my room and I wouldn't talk to her. But see, when she gives me the silent treatment, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I couldn't handle that. I'm gonna be honest, I could not handle that. That's what it is with me. When you really piss me off and you get on my nerves, when you really, really piss me off, I just shut down and I don't talk to people. But when it comes to my family, and it's really just my family and my friends, it's my family and my friends. If I shut down and I don't talk to you, you got to deal with it with me, and I need to work on that. But when it's done back to me with my family and my friends, it's only my family and my friends, nobody else. Like, I don't care if me and a coworker would get into an argument and they stop talking, they won't respond to me. I'm like, oh, that's fine. I don't have to talk to you either. But my family and my friends, I can't handle that. I cannot handle my family and my friends not talking to me, because I'm like, that hurts my feelings. And she said that. She says, it hurts my feelings when you do it to me, but you don't want me to do it back to you. And I'm like, yeah, I get your point. But yeah, we had this really terrible fight. And, I was like, okay, I'm about to go somewhere. I'm about to, just go for a drive. So, that's my car. It's in my name and I pay for it. And I was like, I pay for the insurance. She's like, but I pay the car note. So yeah, leave them keys right there. If you want to go somewhere, you can walk. So that's what I did. And, she felt really bad and she called me and she's like, where are you? I'm like, I told you I was leaving. She's like, come back and get the keys. I'm like, no, mama, I'm good. I'm almost where I'm going now. So it's okay. She said, well, I'll come get you. I'm like, no, you don't have to. And, thinking back on it, the way that I was, I don't mean to laugh, but thinking back on it, it does actually hurt. Thinking back to it, it does hurt me now. Because I've thought over the years, I have definitely, even after things happen with us, I would think about it, I'm like, damn. The one thing that I never wanted to do, I would always end up doing, hurting her and, making her feel bad. When 9 times out of 10, when the arguments that we got into, it was stupid, and most of the times I could say I was the wrong one. And there were some times that she was like, what's wrong? That's what Jerome, my middle name. She would be like, Jerome, I was wrong. So we could always admit to each other when we were wrong. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I think most of my arguments with my mom, it was just me. I'm a spoiled little brat, my grandmother and my mom gave me whatever I wanted, and I knew how to play them both play them. So, and even even when my grandmother was here, because that's actually what I did one day. I think one time I got really, really mad at her. One time I don't know. I walked to school when I was in college. I walked to class, and my best friend was like, "You walked?" She was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "When that bad?" She's like, "Jerome, I'm gonna take you home." I'm like, now my best friend calls me by my first name, Gerald. She's like, "I'll take you." I'm like, "Nah, it's all good." She says, "No, I'm taking you home." So she took me home. Then one time my mom and I got into it. I'm like, "I'm going to Big Mama's house." She's like, "What you think she gonna do? She gonna take your side?" I'm like, "She will." She didn't. She did not take my side. But I walked over to my grandmother's house and we talked. And she was like, "You were wrong." I'm like, "I didn't think you were gonna I thought you would take my side." She's like, "No, Jerome, when you're wrong, you're wrong." So, hindsight is 2020, and like I said, the arguments were a good chunk of our arguments were the dumbest things. And it was just me wanting to have my way. And I think that's another thing when it came to my mom and my grandmother. If you said no to me, I did not like that. I just didn't like hearing no from them. Like, if one says no, I go to the other one. So if my mama said no, go to my grandma. If my grandma says no, go to my mama. So, hindsight is 2020, you guys. It really is. And it just, makes me miss them so much. But yeah, my mom never once cursed me out, to the point of F you, go to hell, none of that harsh stuff. She would say, "God damn it, Jerome, you just get on my damn nerves at times. You just get on my nerves. Shit. Take the shit. Just go." Stuff like that. But never to the point where she would just do like what Kirk Franklin did. And never did I get to the point where I would disrespect her. I would say, and I never once cursed her out. I mean, I might do it under my breath. And she's like, "What'd you say?" "Oh, I didn't say nothing." She's like, "I didn't think so." But I never cursed her out. Now, she did tell me at one point, and this was when I got old. This is as I was getting older. I think I was in college. She was like, "Damn." She was like, "Jerome, you feel like you can just say anything in front of me at this point, huh?" I'm like, because if I get heated and pissed off, and it would never be toward her, it would just be if I get mad at somebody else. I have my colorful language, as you guys know, and she's like, "You just feel like you can say anything in front of me," and that was at that point I was like, what you do say some of the most. I mean, you do say some things in front of her that she shouldn't probably feel comfortable saying, so I would dial it back. But like I said, never would I ever get to the point of disrespecting her. And, Kirk Franklin, back to him, he issued an apology. He's talked about how he's tried to get his son some help. People are always shocked and amazed when people who go to church and are religious curse. I'm not. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am not. My grandmother, God rest her soul, love you, Big Mama. She was a devout Christian, but my grandmother cussed. And the first time I heard her cuss, I'm like, "Wait a minute. You cuss, Big Mama?" She was like, she started laughing, because it wasn't until I was a teenager that I actually really heard my grandmother cuss. I'm like, I never heard you say a curse word before. Didn't expect it. It just sounded so weird coming out of my grandma's mouth. So weird. So I'm not gonna place fault on Kirk Franklin or his son. I don't think that the conversation should have been made public. I really don't. Family matters should stay within the family, I feel. But, you guys can let me know what you guys think about it. Now, I would never curse a child out. Actually, yes, I do. And I do feel bad. My little cousin, I cuss him out, not a lot. And I actually, when thinking about it, I do need to stop cussing him out. Actually, I don't cuss him out that much. It's just when he does stuff, I'm like, "Get the hell away from me." Oh, you know what? I probably should stop cursing in front of him. He's 8 now, but I think he cusses. He said some curse words before. He recorded himself cussing. And he left it on his phone, and his mama whooped his ass for it. But when he was 2 years old, I said bitch in front of him, and he repeated it. I was like, oh God, Kyrie, big cousin is so sorry for saying that, because I didn't mean it for him to repeat. I mean, he literally repeated it in front of me. He didn't call me a bitch, but he just said bitch in front of me to somebody else. I was like, ooh, and he got a whooping from like, ooh, I'm sorry, Kai. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna see him tomorrow. You know, I'm gonna really try to refrain from cussing in front of him, because he looks up to me as his big cousin. He loves me so much. He looks up to me. So I guess I should be an example to not cuss in front of him. All right, you guys. That's the week's hottest topics. Let me know what you guys thought about all the topics that have been discussed. Like this video, leave your comments in the comment section below, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell button so you guys are aware of when I drop anything else. We do this every week. We try to do it at the same time, the same place, but you know, here lately it hasn't been the same time. Actually my goal is always to have this up between 10 a.m. and noon. It might not be about noon today. It might be about 12:30 or 1. But I'm off here, you guys. I'll see you guys later for Bell Collective Reunion Part 1. And I will see you guys for Love and Marriage Huntsville on Saturday or Sunday. I don't know. It literally might be Sunday that you guys see me for that one. But I'll see you guys later. Stay safe, guys. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands and wear your mask and social distance, you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.